Okay, it's post Hanukah, but I read this incredible story, which has to do with Hanukah. But not only with Hanukah, it has to do with emunah, with faith, with hashgacha pratit, seeing the private supervision of HaKadosh Baruch Hu over every detail in our life. And I want to share it with everyone. Incredible story. There was a guy who went through the Holocaust, through the war, through the camps. He lost his whole family. And he lost his faith also over there. And we can't blame him. And he went to America after the war. And he decided that he's going to get married. And he's not going to tell his children anything about Judaism, anything about Jewish, anything that he's Jewish, nothing. But he married a Jewish woman, also a Holocaust survivor. And they decided together that their kids will not know that they're Jewish. And they went and they lived in some town in the middle of nowhere. Meaning Jewish-wise, it was in the middle of nowhere. There was no Jewish community in the area at all. And that's where they lived. And they had 3 kids, they lived with the Goyim, they lived with the Goyim, and they lived like a Goyish life altogether. Nothing to do with Judaism. The kids had no idea what Jewish is, nothing. But a Jewish soul, it always shines, even if it's a little covered. And one of the boys, his oldest boy, became 13. And his father couldn't not celebrate his son's bar mitzvah somehow. So he told his son, listen, it's your 13th birthday, it's a very special day. He didn't explain why. And my gift to you is, we're going to go out to the big city and we'll walk around and you choose whatever you want in the store, one thing, even if it costs a lot of money, I'll go and I'll buy it. Know the story, Yaakov? I'll go and I'll get this, I'll get it for you, whatever you want. Okay? So they go to town, and they're walking around, and they see this and that. This many years ago, there was a store over there, a Judaica store, Jewish stuff. And the son stops there, and he starts looking. His father tells him, what do you want? This is ancient stuff, nothing to do with us. Come on, get yourself a nice toy, a nice game, something you'll enjoy. And the father had a lot of money he could spend. Take something that'll be useful. And inside he's becoming flames. Like, why is he being pulled to Judaism? What's going on? I want to disconnect him. And no, the son said, you promised me that whatever I want, I'm going to get. So I want to go in. So a promise is a promise. And he goes in with his son. And his son's looking around and he sees on the shelf, one of the shelves, menorah, a Hanukah menorah. Very special, very interesting looking. It wasn't so fancy. It wasn't fancy at all. It was just very unique, very different. It was a kosher Hanukah candle, Hanukah lamp, menorah, right? And he tells his father, I want that thing. His father thought, what are you, crazy? It's a piece of junk. Even if you want a menorah, let's get a normal menorah. They have it from silver. They have nice things from wood. What do you get for this? It was a piece of junk. So he says, Abba, you told me that whatever I want, this is what I want for my birthday. Why are you interfering with what I want? I want it. You're right. A promise is a promise, and fine. So they go over to the person who's selling, and they tell him, we want to get this. He says, I'm sorry, it's not for sale. I said, what? What do you mean it's not for sale? Now the father's getting upset. What do you mean it's not for sale? My son wants this for his birthday. I said, no, I bought this from someone from a Holocaust survivor. Someone in the camps, which is he was murdered in the camps. He made it one time before Hanukah in the ghetto, one of the ghettos. He made it from all kinds of junk that he found. He created this. He was like artistic, and he made it nice. And it was a menorah, and I think it's it's not my own. It's not from my family, but it has very high what's the word? Sentimental value, and it's not for sale. I just put it here because I think it has a sentimental value for the store, for me. So the father said, listen, I'll give you, he said like $500 or something crazy, like talking about 40 years ago. So he says, you know what? okay, that amount of money, fine, you can have it. And he buys it. And the son puts it in his room, and he plays with it all the time. He's cleaning it and making it nice and putting stuff around it, everything. One day he was playing with it, and it falls, and it breaks. And after all, it was made out of junk, and it falls into pieces. And he starts crying. This is a 13-year-old boy. What are you crying about, a piece of junk? But the neshama inside is crying. The person's soul is crying out to Hashem. And the father said, listen, come, don't cry. I'll try to put it together for you. And they tried putting it together. They put out most of it. And then there was one piece that they tried to put in. It's not going in well. It's not going in. So he checks. Maybe there's something bothering there. And he sees there's a little note in there. So he takes out the note. And he opens it. The father opens it. And he faints. So immediately they call Hatzalah. They call whatever the medics to come, and they wake him up, and he wakes up, and he remembers what's going on, and he faints again. Kitza, they see something's getting him really upset, and so they gave him a very strong. No, it's like to calm him down. Oh yeah, yeah, and then he went to sleep for a few hours too. And he woke up, he was still shocked and everything, but at least he wasn't fainting. They told him, and they looked at the notice. They don't understand what's going on there. It's the Hebrew letters. It was in Yiddish. They don't understand. And after he calmed down, he told them what it said in the notice. It said there in the notice, I'll just tell you what it said exactly. He said like this. He said that he wrote a whole list about what's going on there in the ghetto. He says, I'm building here a menorah here in these death camps or death area, wherever they were, in a great danger, b'mesilut nefesh. And I don't know if I will merit to light this Hanukah candle. Because every day here is people dying all the time. And even if I merit to light one candle, I don't know if I'll merit to light the next day's candle. But one thing I'm asking from all my heart, wherever this menorah reaches, whoever it reaches, that I put a lot of mesilut nefesh, I put everything into it, my whole life, please light the candles on Hanukah, and it should be for the elevation of my soul. And for the elevation of my parents and all my families, that no one's left from them. Who was signed? This guy's father was signed on this thing. He was so shocked from the private supervision that Hakadosh Baruch Hu awoke his soul. Just mamash. There's no other explanation. You see, this kid, why does he want to go into a Judaica store? Doesn't know even he's Jewish. And then the father told them they're all Jewish, and they moved to a different city where there was Jewish, and they became observant again. And they were keeping Torah and mitzvot, and I'm sure that they're further on keeping the Torah and mitzvot. It's a true story. There's a number here of the Rav who wrote a book, which is one of the stories in his book, and I'm sure he has also the sources for it. Okay.